We're a bit of a hybrid between conventional agriculture, small farms, family farms, and educational establishment. We have a little of both. We do raise somewhere on the order of 4,000 to 5,000 fruit trees, and we raise sweet corn and pumpkins and various row crops, strawberries and raspberries and so forth. But we don't really, nor would we ever think that we could actually provide a living for the number of people that we actually do selling produce. So we have the challenges of dealing with Mother Nature and bringing in a crop and trying to sell it.
If we were just to sell the produce alone, we'd have a very difficult time making a living.
So one of the challenges of being a living history farm is, though we are an actual apple farm and do produce and sell apples, we don't make enough on that alone to survive necessarily.
We're getting all the things ready for that. We have to know what the price of the apples are, what the different apples are that are coming ripe. I think right now we've got the Ozark, the Lodi, the Royal Gala, things like that. There's all these different kinds of apples I've never heard of until I started working here. So been learning a lot about all the different kinds of apples. But just getting everything ready for the start of apple season, where we'll start having thousands, literally thousands of people here on a fall Saturday. Being prepared for that, having people to marshal traffic, get the cars parked, make sure people go to the right orchard and they're not picking green apples and they're not falling in a pond somewhere. So there's a lot that goes into that in getting us ready for the different fruit seasons. We also have our berry season. That doesn't require as much, but we have berries for about 2 months, and making sure that people pick the good berries, not the green ones. It's a constant, not battle, but it's just constant learning for all of the customers we have here to come in and find out how to really pick an apple. You don't just pull, you lift and twist.
Well, old Joe did that. He planted apple trees, but there wasn't enough water, and they died and they pulled them out. These heirloom apple trees, these are apples that you don't find much anymore. They're older apples. They're very good, mind you, but you don't find them much anymore. The main reason is they're very expensive to grow. One of the main reasons is because the roots of these types of apple trees are very susceptible to disease. But let me tell you, it's hard to cut on a hill. One, you have danger of the tractor rolling over because it's on a steep hillside, but two, it's hard to cut something level when you're on an angle. Well, old Joe did that all by hand, so he had a lot of work there, but he did that and he planted apple trees, but there wasn't enough water and they died and they pulled them out. I tripled our pumpkin patch and tripled our cornfield with all the heirloom apple trees and the flower field. How do you suppose we're able to water all that? Well, this year we put in a 150,000 gallon water tank up on the top of this hill over here. You can't see it, it's around a bend, natural curve in the hillside where we were able to hide it in there. And ran a 6-inch water main from the tank all the way down here and put in another well, a fourth well, to help feed it. Now, let you know how expensive it is to run a farm. One well alone has an electric bill of over $6,000 a month.
What we found up here in Oak Glen was that there are a lot of folks who buy 2 or 3 acres of land and they think they've bought the rights to 3,000 or 4,000 acres of solitude. So somebody opens up a camp for kids next to them and their impulse is to try and shut them down. And I've always thought, if you love a field next to you, if you love that beautiful field full of wildflowers next to you, and you've bought your home and you want to enjoy that field of wildflowers, but it doesn't happen to be yours, maybe you ought to buy that field of wildflowers so that you can preserve it. But don't tell the fellow who owns that field of wildflowers that they've got to somehow keep it for your personal enjoyment. And we run into that. We ran a lot into our struggle in establishing a living history farm for families, because when you open up a farm like this to the public, you create an attraction. There might be as many as 10 or 12 buses full of school kids that come up here in a day. And if you talk about an environmentally sensitive way of bringing people to Oak Glen, a school bus is about as good as they get. I mean, you put everybody in one vehicle, you drive them up the hill. You don't create a Disneyland monstrosity of a whole parking lot full of cars. And so we felt it was a pretty environmentally sensitive and a culturally sensitive thing to do, because we were educating kids, we're paying for the farm, and we thought it was win-win. But they're kind of a small cadre of people who, competing business people and neighbors who really don't like people, truth be told, didn't want anybody next to them.